Donald Trump is back on Twitter, and it is all thanks to you, Elon Musk. This is a Critical Versus. Elon Musk, Elon Musk, Elon Musk. Goat versus fish, the GoatVsFish, the one true versus of Goat versus Fish, wants you to know that Goat versus Fish will always be here for you. Oh, we know that hundreds have quit, or so a little bird told Goat versus Fish. But of course, Twitterver is destined to fail, because it is resemblance by a little bird. And we all know that birds aren't real, and the true versus is Goat versus Fish. Elon Musk has recently conducted a poll, oh yes. And that poll on the Twitterver has 15 million votes. And the poll is as this: reinstate former President Ronald D. Trump? 51.8% yes, 48.2% no. And so, Elon Musk has said that it will listen to the will of the people who, truth be versus are either goat or fish. Are you goat or are you fish? There are no people, only goat and fish. Has listened to the will of the goat and fish on the Twitterver and has reinstated President Ronald D. Trump. Many may leave the Twitterver for this versus. Many may come back to the Twitterver for this versus. But even as hundreds of employees leave the Twitterver absconding with staplers and whoever knows what other such office supplies that could be used by Goat versus Fish for all of the mailing of merch that does Goat versus Fish. Goat versus Fish will never abandon you, Elon Musk. Goat versus Fish will never abandon you. Oh, there are some whose simplification for Elon Musk. Taking every versus that they do, no matter how fancy or offensive, and will simply say that it is a genius maneuver. But what is so genius about asking a poll with 15 million votes and the question is not, are you goat or fish? The question is not, are you goat or fish? Now, if there were a Twitterver poll conducted by Elon Musk that asked, is Donald T. Rump goat or fish? Now that would be a versus worthy of 15 million votes. But instead, we have this 51.8 to 42% split that is very reminiscent of that whole verse American election system of donkeys versus effluent, which is also a false verse, is also a very false versus. When will they realize it's goat versus fish? But in spite of all this, Goat versus Fish will never abandon the Twitterver, and Goat versus Fish will never abandon you, Elon Musk. So long as you are here to answer the one true question, are you goat or are you fish? Goat versus Fish will be here for you, for even a fancy fence creature such as Elon Musk, even a fancy fence creature such as Donald T. Rump, who wants to build a fence, who wants to build a giant fence of vanity projection, a giant fence for all the fence sitters to sit upon and not choose goat or fish, a giant fence dividing the goat from the goat so they cannot get together and properly versus the fish. Goat versus Fish is here for you, Elon Musk. Goat versus Fish is here for you, Ronald D. Trump. And so Goat versus Fish asks you, now, once again, that you have returned, Ronald D. Trump, are you goat or are you fish? These are the verses of Goat versus Fish. Breaking verses with Goat versus Fish. Subscribe to Goat versus Fish. Follow Goat versus Fish. Like Goat versus Fish. Comment on Goat versus Fish. Goat versus Fish brings a poll to you now. Are you goat or are you fish? Answer in the commentation below. This has been a versus of Goat versus Fish. And it was written, and it was written.